Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place in the Lafrade building, a social space for the creme de la creme. One could almost call it a club, perhaps, but it is a space wherein elegant parties are thrown, and the rich and the highly connected rub shoulders. Francis Beaumont, this building has been acquired for you this evening in your name by Mr. Delano so that you can throw a lavish affair. The opera this evening was spectacular. Carmen lit up the stage. When she died, the house wept. There was not a dry eye to be seen. And now, about 15 minutes have passed. It is enough time for people to collect their vehicles or to walk, for the distance between the Royal Opera House and this charming setting is only about 3 to 4 blocks. But Francis, you'll be standing just inside the door with the beautiful Dr. Green on your arm. Mr. Delano is stood slightly off and to the side. He is currently filing his nails. And as the entities enter the room, he will be whispering in your ear their names. First to come up the steps is this gentleman.
Ooh.
He will lean in, Delano will lean in and whisper, "This is James Trilliard. He's a member of, he's a member of Parliament. He's the head of the Ireland's own political movement."
Francis's politics, it does actually have politics as a knowledge. Is he aware of what that is?
They're the extremist far-right movement in Ireland at the moment.
Ooh. That's okay. They can still be tools for our cause.
He walks up and he shakes your hand. He'll say, "I'm so delighted to get this little invitation. Mr. Beaumont, was it?"
Or perceptioning him, by the way, I got 5 successes. Who says,
"Okay.
Yes, an absolute honor to give it out." I shake his hand.
He is incredibly calm. He is incredibly calm, and he is conservative. But there's something weird in his aura that I'll leave it up to Francis if he's ever seen before.
Okay.
His aura is unusually bright and vibrant, though there are hints of odd blackness to it that you've never really seen before. Not hatred. And it doesn't look like diablerie lines. It looks like the aura is sick. But it is particularly bright and vibrant.
Yeah, the sickness he hasn't seen before. The brightness, probably not many times in his life, but the few times he has, it's probably been fairly memorable.
You will notice that he raises an eyebrow as he takes an inhalation of the air before he smiles again.
Humanity certainly should be able to sense well when we fuck.
Thank you, Brad.
If he's doing what I think he's doing, he shouldn't be able to sense any taint of me.
However, the Delano, who is on a path, he very well might.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anyway, but Francis, for his part, will actually kind of, because he's being fairly formal, Francis will kind of, as he shakes his hand, he treats him for saying formalities like a sort of respect, like sort of almost like a, it's almost like he's treating him like a peer. It's the same sort of etiquette that he's approaching Francis with.
Very good. May I say that your choice of locale could not have been more suitable?
Only the finest for Dublin's finest.
So,
is that what typewriter in the background? Is he like having?
that was Evan typing on his phone. What business are you in, Mr. Beaumont?
Francis takes a brief moment to filter through his words, and he'll ask about a second. Quick out of character question. What would his job be considered to be? Because he doesn't have one officially, obviously, because he's a kindred.
Philanthropist.
There you go. Yeah. Shut up, phone. Francis is... The player is failing at being charming. Francis will say... philanthropy and charity work, mostly, and fame for good, honest police work.
I see. Well then, it's been a pleasure. And you, my dear, my apologies. Mr. Trouillard, at your service, I'm sure.
Dear Trouillard, this is Dr. Katrina Green.
Pleasure, Doctor.
Katrina will nod and offer her hand to shake. Nice to meet you.
He will shake the hand. My. It would seem as though the good Mr. Beaumont has come away with the belle of the ball, I must say.
Katrina will smile and say, much appreciated. How are you this evening, sir?
Oh, I'm quite fine, thank you. I enjoyed myself immensely this evening. But, needless to say, I am occupying far too much of your time. I do beg your pardon. I shall be on my way. Thank you very much for the invitation, Mr. Beaumont. And if you are circulating later, I would be delighted in possibly discussing charitable donations with you.
Anytime. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Simply wonderful. And he will walk into the room. Which point Francis immediately takes a breath because oh shit.
Yeah. Francis actually is going to try and establish telepathy with Katrina. If she lets him.
Oh, yeah, sure. I thought you had to roll for something either way, but no, yeah, she let them.
I think that's a werewolf. Be careful.
Out of character. As soon as he said bright, my first thought was, Katrina's gonna hide.
But yeah, he just says that, and he's not prying into your mind. He just maintains the link. So if he feels the need to say anything else, he doesn't need to keep reestablishing it with you.
Yeah, Katrina will just nod, like she's gonna acknowledge that he said this, and then just definitely stick close to him for the rest of the evening.
And Francis just agreed to do business with a fine lunatic who probably will want to kill him. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, it's fine, Francis. Why you gotta worry?
Yeah, it's not like oh god, okay, 4-4. I'm fighting 3 wars. Are we going for like 5? We're going for the 4 hand here?
The black hand, maybe. Next to walk up the stairs is this gentleman.
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you, he'll say as he extends his hand. There is a woman standing next to this one, however, who is dressed more... She's dressed... you can see that she's openly carrying a sidearm. And she has a police badge on her belt.
Oh.
But Delano will lean in. He'll say, "This is Commissioner Adams."
Yep, just rolling my perception. Okay, 4 successes on them both. Yeah, Francis will say, Commissioner, absolute honor. How's he feeling?
How many successes did you get?
I got 4.
That is just enough. He is once again, completely calm. However, his aura is not weird exactly. The weird thing about it is his aura appears to be too stagnant, if that makes sense. It doesn't change when there are normal slight flickerings, if that makes sense. And the woman standing behind him doesn't have an aura whatsoever.
Of course, Dublin is full of fucked up people.
Well, no, it's just that it's upper echelons there. And what the fuck do you think you invited to your party?
Yeah, or yes, the creme de la creme, and I don't even have words for the height of Dublin and the bottom of the barrel are apparently both one and the same. So so there we go.
Francis, you can you have your aspects active. The woman turns and looks at you, and she looks you up and down. But as she's doing so, it's barely it wouldn't be perceptible to the ordinary human eye. But there's a tiny filament of light that basically, it's almost like it scans you.
Yes, Francis, absolute honor and a huge fan of the work you do for the community of Dublin. I'd just like to say I'm thankful.
I'm delighted to hear it. Perhaps you and I can have more fruitful talks at a later time. I do feel as though I don't want to crowd the line. My apologies, miss. Pleasure to make your acquaintance also.
This is Dr. Katrina Green.
Oh, he was speaking to me. Apologies. It's delighted to meet your acquaintance, sir.
Wonderful.
I'm relieved to have not had to see you in the hospital. She's attempting at like a very, very minor joke.
Oh, I shall do my best to endeavor that we never have to meet in your professional circumstances. Now then, we wouldn't want to keep people, so come on. He will turn and he will walk in.
Pleasure once again. But yes, Francis will. Francis again. His link with Fluffy speaks. He speaks to Katrina and he says, "I have no idea what that is. Something's wrong with his compatriot."
Katrina will just like slightly nod and just continues smiling and being quiet for the most part.
This woman walks up and she will lean in and she does the French double kiss when she meets Francis.
Ah.
This young lady is Annabelle Tivney. She is the art and culture. She is the main art and culture editor for the Irish Times. Her aura is entirely normal.
Oh my god. When being human is the exception.
I will point out most of the people who come into this room are human. I just wanted to introduce the weird ones first.
You just wanted to make Francis even more paranoid. Eventually he's going to get that derangement at his bloody rate. But yes, he'll say, Miss Tiffany, an absolute pleasure. He does the same double kiss.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Belmont. You're rather an interesting, if somewhat enigmatic figure, I have to say. You've rather come out of nowhere.
What can I say? I wanted to make a splash.
And your lovely friend. She looks at the screen up and down. For the record, as she looks at the screen up and down, you can tell that there's actual desire kicks up there. She didn't have any for Francis, but she does for Miss Green.
Good to know. Yes, he'll say to Miss Tiffany that this is Dr. Katrina Green.
A pleasure to meet you, Doctor.
You as well. I'm quite a fan of your work. Your article last month on the recent changes in the local style was really riveting, and she'll lean in and do this French double kiss as well. She's gonna be fancy.
Fancy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
I'm so sorry.
Fine.
Sorry, I was going to say, as she does that, Francis was going to chime into her head and say, she likes you.
Katrina's just gonna kind of like Francis obviously knows she can hear him. She's just not gonna make an outward like motion that she's paying attention to him. She's just kind of like, okay.
Well, I have no doubt that I'll have to write a piece on not only the opera but on your hospitality for for Sunday's paper.
You flatter us.
When you edit the social column, it at least means you get into all the good parties.
That has to be a major perk.
It's exceeded only by meeting such lovely people. Anyway, thank you for your hospitality.
Likewise.
The next person to walk up into his house, because there are going to be two more after this, for the record. You'd almost think that's the thought. What?
It's the last one, Hennessy. It's gonna be fucking Hennessy.
I mean, Hennessy could already be in the room for all you know.
I know.
Can we not? We just got that whole thing blown over. Can we not have this again?
I mean, could you pierce Hennessy's obvious gate even if he was here, Bishop?
I don't think I have the line of generation to do so. But anywho,
give me just a moment. When this next person walks up into the room, you will feel Delano's hand on your back, and he pushes you, not forcefully, but like puts his two fingers on like the back of your, just underneath the nape of your neck, and pushes you down as he bows.
Francis will take the hint.
You see this individual walking up in rather traditional garb. It's pleasant.
Okay, interesting.
Katrina seeing the bow, she's gonna either dip her head or do a very slight curtsy, depending on which is better.
You would probably be best to just to basically follow in the footsteps of the other two and just do the proper bow.
Okay, so we'll do a full proper bow.
This gentleman is accompanied by this woman.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Out of character. Out of character. Sorry. Like the tattoos are really cool.
She is that tattooed. You can see she's wearing just a simple. She's wearing a very, very elegant dress, but like her overarms are entirely bare. You can see like all of the ink on her chest, etc., etc., etc. And she's stepping in behind this man and takes up a very much kind of protective, I am a bodyguard position. At which point Delano will say, he doesn't introduce him, but he will say, Lord Sisho, you honor us with your presence. No, Lord Sisho, you honor us with your presence. Do either of you want to make me an intelligence streetwise roll?
Yeah, one sec.
I'll attempt. Lord, let me see what I have to do. Intelligence, and streetwise.
For the record, I also got 6 successes to read Lord Sisho and 5 successes on the tattoo lady.
Lord Sisho's aura appears entirely naturally human. There doesn't appear to be anything odd about it. Neither does his associate.
Alright, yeah.
What was the difficulty?
The difficulty in this case was 6 standard.
Okay, so I got 2 successes. One was and 1 crit fail, so it canceled out one of them.
Wow.
Okay, it's going to be a threshold.
It was 3 successes, but now it's 2 because of the 1.
Okay, it's going to be a threshold of 2 successes, so you definitely get it. Francis, do you get it?
Yeah, well, I get 3 successes with my 3 dice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Lord Sisho is the head of the Thousand-Tailed Dragon Shinsengumi, the large Japanese syndicate that operates the docks and are famous for providing false documentation, passports, and human trafficking. He is probably the most powerful underworld figure currently in Dublin.
Neat. He's a gangster.
He is not just a gangster. He crushed basically the Irish gangs conglomerated under an individual called the Monk. Sisho crushed the conglomeration, scattered the Irish gangs, and now practically rules Dublin's underworld unquestioned.
Neat.
You now understand why Delano is being very, very weirdly prickly about the etiquette when talking to him.
Yeah, and sorry.
Oh no, you continue.
Oh no, Francis is just going to follow up with follow up on Delano's compliment with "'Tis indeed an honor."
I am delighted to make your acquaintance. You are a new face in an altogether interesting dance, Mr. Beaumont.
It would appear so. Now, if only I could be rid of my 2 left feet.
This is an English expression I do not know. Enlighten me.
To have 2 left feet is to imply that one is a poor dancer. It was.
I see. Perhaps then my associate, he will denote Mayrin, who steps forward and gives a slight bow, could be your dancing teacher. He honestly thinks that you're shit at dance and want to be taught dance. It's pretty interesting. Because his aura has kind of become confused.
Well, that's almost amusing to Francis. But he's almost appreciative of the sort of weird normalcy, considering the other strange auras he's ran across this evening.
On a side note, I will tell you right now, because if you play my mage game, you'll find out eventually. Sisho's he's a master mind mage, so he can make his aura look like whatever the fuck he wants.
I know. Yeah.
If it helps, the newspaper lady was genuinely a person.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least we have newspaper lady.
I
like newspaper lady.
There will be at least 2 other actual people. Don't worry.
Yes, because Lord Sisho is not a person.
Fuck no. I mean, do you want to know what Lord... Hang on. For the record, Lord Sisho has an appearance of 4. Do you want to know what his appearance specialty is?
What?
I am the dragon.
I am the fuck you. Bow down now, bitches. All right. But yes. Yes. Francis will just follow up with. Well, it would be a pleasure. But yes, it is an honor and pleasure to make your acquaintance. If there's anything I can do for you this evening, please feel free to ask.
I
Actually, my
consider.
roll. Sorry. I was just going to see if I could make an etiquette roll, because this guy seems to have a very specific way of presenting himself.
Mhm. It's going to be difficulty 7 because it's not. You were trained in European etiquette, and he doesn't seem to use it.
Yeah, he's using a different form of etiquette than I'm used to. So, I get 2 successes.
What was your actual question?
Oh, I'm trying to. Francis is trying to understand perhaps how it'd be best to approach him, given how he presents himself, given how he, what he expects in terms of behavior from others around him.
Saisho believes himself, from your understanding of etiquette and how he's presenting himself, he believes himself to be your superior in terms of his. Not you've been around elders. Elders are of the opinion that sit down and shut the fuck up because I'm older than you. Saisho's of the opinion, sit down and shut up. I am simply better than you. I am a different breed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's sort of.
It's like the inbuilt nobility in the sense of I was born to rule.
Yeah. Rather than being older, it's sort of pristine lineage sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. In that case, no. I would be delighted to speak with you again. You have extended to me your hospitality, and in the spirit of my country, as it is intended, I accept your hospitality. That you can roll intelligence etiquette on.
Okay, I actually don't have a lot of intelligence, and I really need to get up.
Oh, Katrina does.
I get no successes.
You can also roll intelligence etiquette.
Let me see here.
This seems very Tismisi to Francis.
What's the difficulty?
Oh, wow.
Standard difficulty 6. Actually, no, it'd be difficulty 7 again.
Okay. So 7 is passing.
Yep.
4 successes.
Holy shit. Okay.
Francis.
Under Asian concepts of hospitality, Saisho has said that this is quite an interesting one. Whilst he is in Francis's hospitality, Saisho will exercise whatever ability is within his possession to protect his host and his host's property. It kind of flips itself because from a Western perspective, you are considered to be protected by your host, whereas under an Asian standpoint, you are meant to protect your host.
Oh, that's a nice little feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
Can Katrina speak?
You can.
I'm just wondering because she hasn't been spoken to by this person.
He hasn't appeared to notice you, or rather, he is purposefully not noticing you and Delano. That could be a thing, maybe, but you can speak if you'd like.
Katrina will respectfully say, "Your hospitality is most appreciated."
There's a momentary flash of anger in his aura.
Fuck.
Ooh, Francis notes that.
You would assume, Francis, he treats his second as an attendant, and his attendant only speaks when they're spoken to.
Shit.
Yeah, Francis. Francis will literally say, "Careful, pipe down."
You need to train your servants better.
Ooh. How does that make Katrina feel?
Katrina's gonna be very quiet. Like she's gonna step back. She's gonna humor this person. And I mean, her and Francis just got over some shit. Like, let's not. She's gonna just dip her head to this person and then step back.
My apologies.
I have no doubt that you will render a suitable punishment. He will then turn and walk into the room. The woman steps forward and she bows and she will say, I apologize that our ways are not your ways.
Oh no, one of the things I find most enjoyable about the world is the sheer diversity of culture.
Katrina was not in agreement because, I mean, she was kind of thinking the same thing.
That is a very interesting perspective. A very interesting perspective indeed. In that case, I shall join my master. She will offer another bow.
Katrina will ask her a question. She's gonna ask if she can possibly speak with this woman later about the details of the punishment he was speaking of.
My master was not saying that he will punish you. He was saying that he trusts that your lord and master, she will denote Beaumont, will punish you.
I understand that. But what she's not understanding what type of punishment. Like what does this gentleman view as punishment for her, not Katrina? Like what?
If one of us was to fail him in such a manner, we would lose a finger.
Katrina's eyes will widen and she will just nod and say, May your hands hold 10 always.
She holds up her hands and you see that she has 10 fingers and she says, I am not accustomed to failure, if you'll excuse me. And she will bow and she will proceed to enter the room. She walks with a very odd gait. She almost walks in a predatory sense, in the sense of, it's like she's a hunting cat.
Ooh.
But Evan has to go to the bathroom, so I will leave you two to roleplay amongst yourselves for a few moments.
Did he just mention himself in the third person?
Yes. Francis, you can. He speaks inside your head, mainly because there's other people around, and he can be frank when he's talking to you like this. I say, well, they appeared normal, but it would not surprise me if they weren't. It seems like Dublin's creme de la creme is full of the most fascinating individuals.
They sure are interesting. Although the one gentleman is slightly more interesting than the others in a cultural manner. Like Katrina isn't offended by this. Like she kind of gets like this is his culture thing. This is what he thinks. She kind of gets like she's in a different world right now. Like
Francis muses kind of in your head. Perhaps we cast our net a little wide.
Perhaps what?
Perhaps we cast our net just ever so slightly wide. That is interesting. I'm beginning to see where all the other pieces are aligning themselves on the board. And
Oh.
of course, Francis says inside Katrina's head, he looks delighted.
Always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Bell. Always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Beaumont.
Likewise. I forgot. Is it? Sorry, OC. Is it Medici or Di Medici?
It's Medici.
Sorry, Medici.
Medici.
Likewise, Medici. An absolute pleasure to see you here. Francis probably they probably end up shaking hands. They obviously look familiar with each other, and from Katrina's perspective.
Yeah, Medici walks up the steps of the building from a town car. He's pulling the gloves off his hands as he does so, but he will indeed shake Francis's hand. A slight note: Medici does have touch of frost, so his hand is very cold. But
fine. Oh yeah, I should have noted this prior. Would it? So I'll leave it up to you because I should have noted it beforehand. Francis would have Blush of Life active, but if not,
yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and Master of the Masquerade is a thing as well. Anyway,
pleasure to see you again, my friend. I trust that these knights have been treating you well.
Francis actually stops at that. Up until tonight, I wouldn't have been so certain, but it appears things are turning themselves around. I'd say it's about time.
I was so dreadfully sorry to hear about the issue with the Elysium.
Yes, dreadful matter that, but it's fortunately been resolved, and well, I hope you might pay us a visit sometime.
And who is this delightful star in the night sky? You must introduce us.
Yes, this is my accountee, Dr. Katrina Green.
Of Clan Toreador, no doubt.
Yes. Katrina, this is Florence de Medici of Clan Giovanni. Oh, my apologies. Don Florence de Medici of Clan Giovanni.
We all have our titles that we must bear. A pleasure to meet you, my dear. He will take your hand and he will kiss it very softly. Once again, his lips are incredibly cold, but there's significance in the gesture.
Katrina will smile and say, "Likewise, it's quite nice to meet you as well."
As I said, there's so few things of true beauty in these nights. So seeing something as lovely as you, my dear, has brought warmth to an old dead heart.
Out of character, Katrina does have the blush of help. So she's like warm to the touch, like she's not frozen cold. So that's kind of amusing. Katrina will say, "Yes, I did somehow retain a bit of heat after the embrace."
As you say, child. But, Monsieur Beaumont, if you should ever require us, you know where we are. You shall have to be my guest for dinner another evening.
Why, it would be an absolute pleasure.
With that, he shall posh into the other room.
Yes.
Posh, the greatest form of locomotion.
That's not an actual person.
I mean, that's not, but he was going to show up anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you really expect there to be a fancy party and him not to show up?
No, I was waiting.
Though it is the next person who walks up the stairs that might cause Francis the most chagrin or interest of the evening.
Oh.
For the record, I will point out that as these people have been walking up, there are literally over 24 actual people in the room. Like, as in actual mortals. There are at least 25 to 30 actual people. I'm just spreading these out. Like, it might seem like they're coming one after another, but these are just the important people that I'm denoting. If you get me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Francis. There we go. This individual is walking up the steps.
Oh, well. In which case, Francis obviously is going to offer a genial bow to his prince. Obviously, Katrina doesn't need to be told who this is.
Katrina will follow.
Ah, Sheriff Beaumont. So good to see you in the surroundings to which your clan has become accustomed.
Yes, I thought I'd go back to my clan roots. I'm very thankful you decided to grace me with your. Oh, actually, you'll say us because Katrina's here and Delano. Grace us with your presence.
One moment.
That's fine.
And you are Miss. I recall your face, but your name escapes me.
Dr. Katrina Green, sir. She'll hold out her hand to shake, I guess.
The moment she moves her hand, Francis's voice inside her head says "bow." In that inflection,
Katrina will quickly put her hand back down.
I do like that. Just bow.
bow.
Wait, she did bow. She bowed initially.
Good.
1 second.
Good.
Is she supposed to bow again? She bowed initially.
She bowed initially, I suppose that's fine. As long as she's showing proper etiquette.
You were really quiet. What did you just say?
I think as long as she bowed, she should be fine. As long as she
Okay.
Reaching out your hand to the prince might have been a social faux pas.
Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
She's gonna
put her hand right back down real quick.
Yeah.
It's very rude, Mr.
Like her hand gets a little bit away from her leg, and she's gonna put it right back down. She's gonna go, "Oh shit."
He denotes your facial features. He looks at Francis and he says, "It's very rude to have conversations that multiple people cannot hear, Mr. Beaumont."
Oh, is that motherfucker looking inside my head?
No, he's just looking at the human symbolism. She went to raise her hand, then immediately dropped it back down with a consternated look on her face. So he's just putting two and two together. You'd almost think he was used to this kind of thing.
He was used to this bullshit of people having conversations behind his back because he's a prince.
Question: Would Katrina? How would Katrina address this person?
It's either Your Highness or Prince.
Okay, Katrina will say, "Apologies, Your Highness. I haven't quite grasped all the social cues yet."
I have no doubt that with such an excellent teacher, you will be more than able to do so. I had tea with your dear Archon, Madame Gilles, before she returned to Paris. She is a most energetic figure.
Francis, actually, no, yeah, Francis will look slightly animated at her mention. And we'll say, yes, I can only hope her company was enjoyable. I'm sure it was.
Though I must admit I am curious. I received a letter about 3 nights ago from a very interested party. I'm curious why it is that my grandsire has interest in you, Mr. Beaumont.
Francis is very interested in that statement because he knows who his grandsire is, and that's terrifying. Francis knows enough of his personage to not ever mention him by name because he's that intimidating. That's what having 9 intimidation is. Shh, don't say its name. Francis. Actually, just draw a reaction from Francis because that does intriguing. That concerns Francis, intrigues him. He suspects he knows why, but isn't certain because obviously involves 2 separate lineages, and at least to his knowledge, descended from him, as far as he is aware. Francis will say, "Oh, well, that is very intriguing. I must admit, I did not expect that." He does seem quite caught off guard. Gears are obviously turning inside Francis's head, like the prince can obviously see that. Like Francis seems very, very interested in why Mithras would have interest in him. I mean, that kind of goes out saying, but for most kindred, I think it would be very interesting. But
404 error, Francis not found.
Yeah, Francis is very curious. He suspects he knows why because of his dealings with another Ventrue, but he can't be certain, so he's not entirely sure whether it's positive or negative, and is trying to not imply.
Again, of course, there's something quite weird. Like, bear in mind, if Mithras wanted, he could stretch out his hand and make himself. He could become the He could not just become the Justicar. He could become the inner council member for the Ventrue if he wanted it.
Yeah, he's almost certainly a member of the Directorate. Probably its leading member.
But so he will look down at you because the prince is quite tall. He's about 6'2", 6'3", and he will look down at you and he'll say, "He wished to be given a report on you. I'm curious why that is." Though he did also note in his letter that apparently, and I quote him, "You are to stay in your position because you could not hope to have someone with greater integrity and competency."
Oh, well, I'm very honored by the praise from your great grandsire. I did not.
His grandsire, not his great grandsire.
No, he's literally using great as in positive.
Oh, as if you're great.
Yeah.
In that case, maybe use esteemed might be a better.
Yeah, esteemed. Yeah, because Francis is more well spoken than I am. Your esteemed grandsire. This is. So most.
He has extended to you this. He will remove a small envelope from the inside of his coat, and he will hand it to you.
Why, thank you.
You're more than welcome. If you'll excuse me, Dr. Green, Mr. Beaumont.
Of course, my prince. And he'll bow again.
He doesn't walk into the party room. He walks out the door.
Interesting. Can I roll empathy to see if I slighted him in any way?
I mean, his aura is still entirely calm. He
Okay.
doesn't seem to be He doesn't seem to be in any way angry. You'd assume maybe he just never really intended to go to the party.
Yeah. He came in to drop off a message. Very interesting. Francis.
Well, when Mithras says do a thing, are you really going to say no?
Oh. No. No. Francis will, he won't open the envelope right now because we're in the middle of something. He should probably give this the time it deserves. But he will he will look back to Katrina and will say, "This is either going to be very good or very bad."
Katrina will respond by saying,
She has no idea who this guy's lineage or how important the grandsires or anything like that. So
"You just cut out a whole lot."
Beatty was just saying that Katrina wouldn't know who the hell Mithras is or like how important great grandsires or grandsires or any of that stuff for. How important that is.
Well, Francis said it's either very good or very bad to her, so she'll respond by saying, "We've had plenty of very bad recently. Let's have a slight air of optimism."
I tell you what, Francis, you won't open it now, but how about this? You will open it probably after the party, but I'll tell you what it says now. Because you're going to open it.
Yeah, I'm going to open it. Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't start off like dear or anything like that. It starts off with the phrase bemusing. It would seem as though, through abuses flagrant and other usages of power, that you have proven yourself to have more integrity than a member of the clan of princes. Needless to say, I have taken personal interest in this slight tryst between two entities who should, I had hoped, know better. But then again, both are merely pathetic children. This will simply not do. I will not have this Camarilla, this institution that I have served since its birth, tarnished and muddied simply for the ego of two pathetic, mewling babes. With this in mind, I have corrected the issue. Simply put, you have shown more integrity than pillars whom claim to support the ivory tower, but whom corrupt and allow it to fester for their own power gains. This has been noted. Your position has been tracked. You are now an entity on the board as far as I am concerned. Congratulations, Mr. Beaumont. Entities who show such... Actually, no, he will call you Mr. Fairfax. Congratulations, Mr. Fairfax. Entities who show themselves to be dedicated servants will, in time, be called to serve. You should not fear the repercussions of actions taken, for I have made it so that both parties know that if they are to toy with you again, they will be toying with my personage, and I am an individual who understands the value of the pieces on his playing board. It's not signed already.
I'm very proud of this moment. Mithras praised me. Oh, I'm giddy.
You suddenly come to the realization that you are safe because you hold that piece of paper. That piece of paper has literally made it so that you cannot be toyed with by those two parties because both of them are not nearly old enough, powerful enough, or have enough sway to compete with the entity who wrote that letter.
Yeah, he more or less just told them. He more or less just told two Justicars to sit down and shut up, and they did.
Pretty much. There is no mention, though, of if one of them is working for Aishar. You'd assume because he doesn't know.
No. But then again, Aishar is a very powerful and enigmatic piece on the board himself. So, and even Mithras does not know everything. So yeah, that is something that.
But Francis, due to basically your integrity, because he did say integrity several times, he has essentially, you're right, told two Justicars to sit down, shut up, and that you have more integrity than the both of them.
Neat.
You're not sure if that's made them enemies, but they don't actually have the power to question the statement.
No, it doesn't really matter if I hate them, because if they hate him or me, because they're no longer in a position to act on it.
So there you go. Big Daddy M has come down and put his dick on the table. The table broke.
Yeah, very, very bluntly, very obviously, and so much so that everybody was like, "That's pretty big."
So, all of your guests have gathered. They are now in the sitting room. Many of them are drinking and laughing. It is a pleasant soiree. Francis, it is now time for you to make your speech.
Oh my god, I have nothing planned.
That sounds like a you problem.
I knew you were going to say that, and it doesn't make me feel any less bitter, Evan.
Guess what that also sounds like?
Sounds like me pointing two middle fingers towards the many-cam.
It sounds like great improv is what it sounds like.
You want to know what I suck at?
Improv?
Oh, you betcha.
It's okay, just pull up an old presidential speech and read it. That's what happens in America.
Now I don't want to use my powers because I know there's supernatural in the room. And that's actually a problem. Because I don't want to give myself away any further, and I also don't want to piss any of them off. Because I have no idea how strong any of them actually are. Francis might be able to kill them should they kick off, or they might snap their fingers and he might dust. So, how to go about this? Needless to say, I'm not going to waste everybody's time by writing a speech now, so I'm not going to. Francis will enter the room. He'll probably spend a little bit of time just mingling, just to allow people to kind of get used to his presence. It's not very long; it's just a few minutes. Because a lot of them are probably expecting a speech, so he doesn't keep them waiting. It's just a matter of sort of almost like warming them up. But eventually he will take up he'll probably take up a glass and do the whole like glass and spoon thing where you tap it and it's like, may I have your attention please and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, blah blah blah. And I would like to apologize to Evan because I'm having a lot of trouble coming up with a speech.
Maybe here's an idea. Roll me your charisma leadership. See how good the roll is. Maybe that'll prompt the speech.
Yeah, I was gonna roll. I think I'd have to roll at some point anyway. And certainly willpower because I don't want to botch and piss all of them off. I feel like that's sensible.
You do have really swingy rolls.
I do. I get like either max successes or just fatal.
Hang on. Before I do this, is Christina going to help the roll?
Oh yeah, do you want to assist?
You can assist.
If she will.
What is your charisma expression?
Oh, they're good. Charisma is 4, expression is 3.
Do you want her to make the speech for you?
I don't think Katrina did not think that's a good idea, considering the very rude gentleman in the room.
You know, they're telepathically linked. Katrina could literally feed him the speech, and he will literally state her.
No, but it's about how it's said, not.
That's true.
I said 71. I'm a fucking idiot.
That's fine.
70.
Oh wow! Okay, that's actually really good.
Yeah, yours is better.
I got successes. Did you get? You got 1, 2, 3 minus 1 is 2 successes. So Francis, you will get your roll on difficulty 4 because of her 2 successes.
Okay, that is 6 successes then.
Jesus
actually,
Christ.
Yeah, wow, yeah. As you said, Francis is really swinging rolls, and looks like this is the upswing.
So make your speech, sir.
Oh, I have to make a speech, and it has to be really good.
Would you rather just go by the strength of the roll?
It doesn't really have to be good because the roll was great.
Yeah, what I want to do is my problem is I'm struggling to come up with like a topic or something to say, because I know it was about an opera, and I'm trying to come up with like a purpose, like to kind of give myself like something to jump off of. But I'm having a lot of trouble. I do apologize. This is probably the first time in like 4 or 5 months I've actually found myself stuck.
Okay, quick question. What is the reason for the speech?
It's basically to thank everyone for coming and to grandize the opera and to make him seem cultured.
Make himself seem good? You can definitely mention the opera and then like a round of applause for the actors and actresses and whatnot, even though they're not there, they're with them in spirit.
The actors and actresses are there at the after party.
Wait, the actors, they're there?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, definitely a round of applause for them, and then you can mention how some things in Dublin society have been changing, and there have been a few bumps in the road, but things are finally smoothing over, and
I don't want to make it too kindredy, just because other supernatural societies might be going smooth sailing.
I don't think just saying Dublin society would be kindredy. Like there are changes in the city of Dublin, and blah blah blah. There, things are finally starting to smooth over, and you're proud to have played the part in it that you did. But do like a humble brag.
Yeah. Appear modest while actually play yourself down to play yourself up, as it were. In which case, I apologize if this does not match the strength of a roll. I would like to ask if I could go by the strength of a roll.
Yeah, no, dude, you have rolled the dice. The speech will be well received. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I apologize for holding everybody up like 10 minutes. But yes, Francis Hall. The glassing and ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have your attention for one simple moment, I would just like to state how thankful I am for coming, and if we could give what do you call opera staff people?
The acting troupe.
If we could perhaps give a moment of our time, a round of applause once again for the acting troupe of the absolutely sublime opera that we were just all witness to. He will blag on some cultural stuff because I don't know anything about opera, so Um,
It's fine, sweetheart.
yeah, he'll just say the music was great, blah blah blah. It is. I'm trying to go by Katrina's speech, but I'm having trouble staying on track. See, Francis doesn't freeze up like me.
Bishop, do you want to just default to the role and people will start applauding?
Yeah, I think I will. I do apologize.
It's fine. It's also quite late, to be fair, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There was a polite round of applause before. Wait a moment. Let me just get this picture. For this gentleman will once again stand up.
Oh.
And he will say, ladies and gentlemen, I think that on behalf of all of you, I would like to very much thank our host for his kind words. This evening, we have enjoyed a wonderful feast for the eyes and the ears. We have enjoyed the fretting as Carmen gave up her life for the individual that she loved. This is an old story. It is a story that has true probative value, I'm sure you all agree. And our host put it so well when he said that this evening, in the moment of her death, all of us found a new purpose to continue on tomorrow, the moment where we might live. Needless to say, many of you know me. Many of you have been in my company for numerous such soirees as this. And I would simply like to remind you all that we, as a country, are also suffering. We have been so for what seems, well, decades longer. And I would like to impart upon all of you that tonight, as we saw one individual die, we also saw the fact that through death, there comes the possibility, the chance to have another life freed of pain, freed of suffering. So I would like you all to remember this sweet moment of transition, when it is that we must go to the ballot boxes in the next 2 months, decide the future of our country. And he is going to roll some dice.
See, if I want that vocabulary, you give me that thesaurus right now, sir.
I'm a sweetheart. I do LARP. I've had to pull speeches out of my ass at the drop of a hat so many times. Don't fucking worry about it. It's something you get good at. But he's also going to activate a very specific gift.
Oh, okay. Can I roll awareness?
Yeah, you can.
Does my Auspect apply here?
Yeah, it does.
I have 3 successes.
Persuasion lowers the difficulty of things by 2, I want to say.
No, it lowers it by 1, but it also has the mechanical effect that it lowers the rolls of social difficulties. The difficulties of social rolls by 1. Yeah, I'm tired. And it also causes them to leave a slightly stronger impact. It's a bit longer lasting than they'd normally be. So if you leave...
And his 10 doubles.
Well.
You'd almost think he was. You'd almost think that he was. No, I'm not going to say it. That would ruin it. But the room erupts in polite cheers and clapping as he raises his champagne glass in Francis' direction and gives him a little salute.
It's reciprocated. Yeah.
By the way, you can tell he did something with jiggery pokery.
Oh yeah. Francis can feel it. It's probably not as strong as presence, though.
I beg your pardon?
Is it as strong as presence, or is it like?
No, it's you'd almost swear it was like dominate. It's much more manipulative than it is shock and awe. But yes, kids. And with that note, we shall end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. I shall give out rewards at the end of the scene.